Hello everybody! There are about 10 months left until the release of GTA 6, and not so long ago, while playing GTA Online, I asked myself an interesting question. But what will happen to a game that has actually raised several generations of people over the 12 years of its existence, and what will happen after the release of GTA 6? If you look at it directly, how many moments were there in GTA Online? How many emotions it gave? How many content makers it formed? And can it really just end in one moment? But is everything that serious? And will Rockstar Games really end up giving up on their brainchild? Let's figure it out. GTA 5 and GTA Online as a whole will be 12 years old this year. Since its release, the game has released more than 20 different updates or so that complemented and expanded the possibilities of multiplayer, which eventually became not just a separate game, but something more. Over the past 4 years, developers have slowly but surely reduced the number and quality of updates in GTA Online due to the full-scale development of the 6th part of GTA. Few of you remember, but at one time, Rockstar Games could release 4 updates per year for GTA Online. Now this bar has dropped to 2 updates per year. And as a rule, there is not a particularly large update in the summer, but in the winter, something is really large scale. But in terms of the scale of Rockstar Games, this term changes a bit every year, or rather its concept. And now, when we actually have only one update left, and a major one at that, before the release of GTA 6, I was wondering what would happen to the game, for example, next year. After all, the 6th part of GTA has already been released there, and players are already migrating there. By the way, we already have information about a major new update, which is expected to be released this winter. Namely, what it will be like. A new real estate agency will be added to the game, which will allow us to purchase various mansions, of which there are a huge number on the map. At the moment, these mansions are empty and are practically not used anywhere, including the areas where they are located. Literally, just a part of the map is practically not used online. And then Rockstar Games did the right thing by making a similar concept for the next update. Why, you may ask? But because if it's trivial to take the subject of robberies, and the developers want to make another update with this theme, then the question is, what exactly is robbing? In the game, our character literally robbed everything he could. The developers, realizing this, rolled out the Cayo Perico heist in 2020 with a separate full-fledged island. Because in fact, there is absolutely nothing to rob in Los Santos. In the game, you can rob from a food stall and collection vans to robbing a full-fledged casino and island. I think many of you have noticed that the theme of robberies in GTA Online as such has stopped developing since 2020. And that's exactly the reason for this. And yes, I do not dispute that. In the game, after the Cayo Perico robbery was released, the Tuners update appeared in the game, which just had the same robberies. But they were already in the previously used locations. And in fact, the payment is literally about nothing, and that's why the developers will make the next update with new real estate in the form of mansions. Since this even logically completes the ENT of your online character. By the way, many players noticed this detail. Imagine if your character went through all the storylines. He robbed absolutely everything, saved the world from the nuclear threat, and now he can just afford to buy a mansion and live his high life. GTA stories have always been about this, about how some person rose to a high rise in the criminal world. And such a concept for an online character also sounds quite logical and appropriate. But no matter how beautiful it all sounds, it still suggests what's next. Now you can just imagine what can be done in the next updates and what can be used. The only thing that comes to mind is the water surface, as it is practically not used in the game in terms of content. Developers can, for example, give players the opportunity to buy an aircraft carrier, but why? So that they are all over the map in the same way as yachts, and even more so, what can be implemented with such a concept? Robbing other aircraft carriers, another farm of crates or tasks with a penny payment, honestly sounds unpromising. The police update is also passing by because we have a lot of police content in the game right now. And these are Vincent's assignments: police uniforms, police cars, and a criminal apprehension bureau. For this reason, I think that the last major update for the game will be released this winter. Since it's trite, this is the last opportunity for developers to warm up players with a major update before the release of GTA 6. And the bigger the update, the more they can earn, so I think something really interesting awaits us this winter. But what if I tell you that, in principle, this year's winter update for GTA Online will not be the last? GTA 6 will be released on May 26 next year, but it will be released online about a month or a month and a half after the release of the main game, around June or July next year. Accordingly, the first online update in the sixth part may be released in December or October, depending on how the developers focus on the game, but not in June, because developers may simply not have time, and even more so, it is not logical at all to let players play a new game and immediately release an update the next day without the opportunity to get used to online. This was the case from GTA Online and the online environment, so next summer we will definitely see at least one more update for GTA Online. After that, the game will have two paths. The first one is very sad. GTA Online leads to a coma by canceling the release of new updates. However, the bonus weeks in the game will also be updated, just like Rockstar Games did with Red Dead Online in 2022. There, they said that new updates in the game are not worth waiting for, but various monthly bonuses in the game will be updated. All this was necessary in order not to waste their resources and redirect them to the development of GTA 6. Yes, GTA 6 was the reason that Rockstar Games abandoned such a promising online project. The second option is more positive. Updates will be developed in parallel for both GTA Online and GTA 6. I am more inclined to the second option because the developers will definitely not abandon their brainchild, which has brought them multi-billion-dollar income for 12 years. They will definitely milk GTA Online to the last. This is also evidenced by the release of the enhanced version of GTA 5 on PC, which allows developers to expand their capabilities. The main reason why the developers abandoned Red Dead Online is because it didn't generate much revenue for the company, in particular, the one they expected. GTA Online, on the contrary, has been feeding developers and publishers for 12 years. And this fact confirms that the developers will definitely not score on GTA Online after the release of GTA 6, and updates will appear in the game. Of course, they're not big, but they will appear. Another interesting point is the fact that the developers still support updates to the game on the last generation of consoles. Unfortunately, it is not known how long this will last. In my memory, the PlayStation 3 version of GTA Online stopped supporting updates a year after its release. Still, in my humble opinion, GTA Online will live on after the release of GTA 6, of course, in terms of updates. Yes, it's definitely not worth waiting for any major updates, but I think the content will expand. And it is more than likely that in GTA Online, we will have collaborative content with GTA 6, just as it was with the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 at the time, where a quest was added to the game to find a gold self-cocking revolver. After completing which you received the same revolver only in the Red Story mode, Dead Redemption 2. The only thing that will affect GTA Online after the release of GTA 6 is the players who will upgrade to GTA 6. That is, literally, some part of the players will simply drop out of GTA Online and move on to the next part of GTA. At the same time, he forgot about his character forever. Well, what do you think will happen to the game after the release of GTA 6? Write in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!